And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth TV Live. Good to see all of you here today with me for this Friday. So, we had a great conversation yesterday on the Signpost Live. Just a reminder for everybody that, again, I do 2 webcasts per week. On Thursdays, I do the Signpost Live starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then here I am today at 10 a.m. Pacific for New Earth TV Live. All right. So I may get the question, so Brad, why is it that you're bringing on 2 different webcasts? Well, because they're basically themed in 2 different ways. The first one on Thursdays with the Signpost is more about current events and looking into things that come and basically talking more in a general way in regards to anything, even on worldly or earthly levels for people. And then on Friday, like I said, it's more of an Adronis distance healing type of webcast. So there's 2 different themes to the webcasts altogether, and that's why I do 2 of them per week. So, and it seems to work because you guys show up. So no one shows up, I wouldn't be doing them, but people are showing up and they're enjoying them. So happy to do them. Anyways, again, thank you guys. Happy you're here today, and we're gonna go ahead and start off with some announcements. All right, so. As I've talked about, it was about a week or so ago, and I was talking about the AETHERX healing flashlight. I'm actually going to be changing the name to the Source flashlight, but this has been a really amazing technology. All right, this is about taking the AETHERX technology to an electronics level, right, and just being able to work with the healing flashlight, or the Source flashlight as it's going to be called, and just being able to clear away any particular forms of ailments within the body, right? So if you have aches, pains, sores, stiffness, tension, right, anything of that nature, even old wounds in that way, sore throat, headache, a migraine, backache, right, anything that represents bodily conditions, bodily ailments, this is one of the best things you can get for it, right? Because what this is doing is, as you turn it on, you're working with the source center vibration, right? The source center vibration is radiating through this light, okay? And it's because of the image here, the AETHERX logo right here, which contains all of the codes to therefore penetrate through the light. And as soon as you turn the light on, it instantly goes to work. So as I said, you basically want to give yourself a few minutes and just start going over the arms, going to the chest, the neck. Like I said, make sure you don't point this in your eyes, okay? It's a very powerful light, so we don't want to blind anybody, okay? But you can go up around here, around the mouth. And there's also different dim settings as well, too. So if you hold the button down, 1, 2, okay? Now it gets a little bit more dimmer, and you can work with around the ears. If you guys have tinnitus, right, pressure in the ears, this is perfect for that. This will basically clear it away in about 5 minutes, okay? Same with the nostrils. You can put them up around the nostrils as well too. That will help with your sinuses. Just do not put this directly in your eyes. I've had people say, well, Brad, if I have bad eyes, what do I do? Well, then you get the visor sunglasses. You get the visor sunglasses, you get the organite source necklace, okay? That will help you with the eyes, but you do not shine this directly in your eyes, okay? You can go above here, just go right around the brow, which is fine, okay? But never ever put this directly in the eyes. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're all aware of that in our youth, when our parents are saying, don't shine your flashlight in your eyes, you're going to hurt your eyes. Well, come on. We should remember that back when we were like, what, 3, 4 years old? So the same thing applies with this. Please just do not put it in your eyes. But anywhere else around the body will work well. I was actually having a bit of a sore ankle yesterday because I was doing so much walking, and I just had a bit of a sore ankle last night, and I just applied this on for about 2 or 3 minutes. Ankle good as new. Okay, so this is by far our most powerful and potent technology to help with bodily ailments. Okay, so someone may say, oh, Brad, can I use this to relax? Well, you're basically soothing your body using this. So after you're done soothing your body, then you can relax. So, but it's not meant to be a therapeutic tool. It is a healing tool. Okay, so again, we have a new batch that have come in for the healing flashlights, or again, as they're going to be called, the Source flashlights. And you can find it on AETHERX.co. Remember to use the promo code MIDNOV20, okay? All capital letters, MIDNOV20. or 20% off the products in your order. Okay, so make sure you're using that. And again, we do have quite a few flashlights remaining. Okay, so go ahead and grab them. Now there is a 3 quantity limit, right? You can only order up to 3 flashlights per order. So if you want to get more, you just have to create multiple orders. Okay, we do that because of battery reasons, right? A lot of shipping companies, or basically I would say if I wanted to ship this by air to anywhere in Europe, for example, or anywhere in Asia, then basically there's quite a bit of regulations with that, right? Because they're very paranoid about batteries. So again, I try to keep it about a 3 order limit because it's a little bit more easier to transport them from Canada to international. Now, it's not really a problem with Canada or the US if it's ground-based transportation, but if it's air, they're very, very picky about batteries. So this is why, again, I basically put it down for a 3 quantity maximum for the healing flashlights or source flashlights, okay? Just for that reason. But again, if you want more, you just have to order multiple orders of it, okay? They'll be sent separately, but you'll get them nonetheless. So again, that is the new source flashlight. There is also the source laser pen that is going to be coming as well too. So it looks just like your little laser pointer. Has a thinner laser band, okay? But it works just the same. It's the exact same as the source flashlight, just it's smaller and has a thinner focused ray, okay? But it also does the same job. And those will be coming very soon. They should be here probably the next week or two, I'd say, as long as there's no delays. Then, of course, we also have the new AETHERX socks. Okay, so I'll be making a new webcast, a newsletter this weekend promoting the new AETHERX earthing socks that we have in. I'm actually wearing them right now. And they're actually good. They feel great. They're a lot better than the old socks we used to have for AETHERX. These ones are way better, way more attractive. They come in both black and in white. And they're amazing. So that'll be promoted in the newsletter. So if you guys do not get the AETHERX newsletter, make sure you go to aetherx.co, right? Just scroll down to the bottom of the page where the footer is. On the right side, you'll see that little newsletter box. Just put your email and you're subscribed. If you're already a customer, you're automatically subscribed, okay? All right, moving on. So as I was talking about yesterday, my girlfriend Brianne is launching Trinity Home Healing. Okay, so this is her website here, trinityhomehealing.com, and she is trained in the ancient ways of Feng Shui. Okay, basically it's referred to as Flying Star Feng Shui. Okay, and she's just starting to get her business going. And again, she was doing Feng Shui for my old condo when I used to live there, and did an amazing job. Right, the whole energy of the place was wonderful. Again, financial abundance is wonderful. Right, Feng Shui is a very good thing to have as part of your own not only healing journey, but it basically just helps to stabilize everything. We're learning about the power of shape, and we're learning about the power of environment when you're really looking at Feng Shui. Right? Even like I said, biogeometry with what I'm taking as well too, studies the nature of shape and is very much in alignment with Feng Shui as well too. In the new year, we're going to be having what's known as AETHERX Feng Shui, which will be a combination of what Brianne is doing with her Trinity Home Healing and what AETHERX is going to be doing as well too. So basically, guys, the reason why many of us are sick is because of environmental debris. Okay, and Feng Shui is specifically designed to detect what areas of the home are out of alignment. It does not matter if you have a basement suite. It does not matter if you have a bachelor pad. It does not matter if you have a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment, a condo, a house, whatever it may be. It is very wise to look into Feng Shui because it's helping to detect where all the rough patches are inside the home, where there is stagnancy, where there is disease that can manifest, where there is illness that can manifest. We basically also have something in Feng Shui referred to as poison arrows, right? And being able to remedy all those things. So Feng Shui has its own system to help remedy, but what's also coming is with AETHERX Feng Shui, is you're also going to be working with AETHERX technology together with Feng Shui to completely transform your home into a healing center, okay? And Brianne can do that with you as well too. She has the ability to look into your home and harmonize it and turning it into something that is divine, a healing center. And then when we apply the AETHERX technology upon it, then we're making it into an even more outstanding healing center. All right. And that's really what I'm doing with AETHERX. My goal is to not only help you guys with healing and helping you guys feeling good, but also making sure your environment, like I said, that is the true crucial components. It's one thing just to do healing on yourself. The second thing you need to learn to do is you want to do healing on your environment. I cannot emphasize how important that is. All right, so this is Brianne's website, trinityhomehealing.com. She is starting to make some free content as well too, some free materials for you guys as well too. But she's just getting started. She's already worked with a few people already, and she's done an amazing job. Her and I are actually going to do a video this weekend as well too. So we're going to be talking a lot more about feng shui. She's going to be showing you more about the basics of it, how it works, and the benefits that come together with it all together. But feel free to check out her website. These are, again, her true introduction videos. And of course, she's been able to put a limited offer on her 2024 Feng Shui report. And her Feng Shui reports are so beautiful, so attractive, so detailed, so wonderfully done. You guys will absolutely love it. So you can also follow her on social media here. And she's got these cute little animals here. I love it. And of course, she has her email here on the bottom. So go ahead, do her a favor, go to her website, right, to check out her products. It's going to be amazing. You're not going to regret having an incredible report with her. She's very thorough. She likes to work very, very deeply with everybody in regards to their home so that you're getting the best results. And of course, I will be available should you guys want to implement AETHERX into your home as well too. And that can be done by special request alongside with Brianne's Feng Shui or Flying Star Feng Shui. So again, trinityhomehealing.com. Please go ahead and check it out. It's going to be something that you're going to really fundamentally enjoy. Okay, moving on to private sessions, distance healing sessions, 3-question private email sessions, full body source healing sessions. All of this is available. Also included is our nutrition and genetic scan sessions, which are also standalone sessions. But if you have the full body source healing, you can use this add-on with it. If not, you can just simply use this as a standalone. I really recommend this one because this is very important. We need to know where your nutrition is at. We need to know what kind of vitamins you're taking or not taking, or what kind of nutrients you're taking or not taking, amino acids you're taking or not taking. Looking into activating the methylation genetic code within yourself so that the refineries of your body can turn on, so that you're healing your body and you're healing so many different problems, physically, mentally, emotionally, throughout your body. So that is now available on newearthteachings.com. Bosnia tour is still available. Explore the ancient sun pyramid, larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, healing chambers within the pyramid and its construction revealed by Adronis, ancient healing practices and environmental healing, which I'll be teaching, witnessing sacred sites and harnessing sacred power to take back home with you, right? So you're going to be taking part of Bosnia back with you as you join me again for this another amazing once-in-a-lifetime tour. Again, this is 7 days, 8 nights, starting September 15th to 22nd in 2024. You can register now at wowtours.de. That's W-O-W tours.de. Register there and join me for this exciting tour as we explore the largest pyramids in the world together. It's going to be amazing. Finally, everything on New Earth Teachings is backed up onto our Odyssey channel. Link is odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. All right, so quite a few announcements, but they're great announcements. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Adronis in first, and he's going to be having a certain topic of discussion. I was getting the flow of it this morning. It is going to be called The Destiny of Humanity. And I'll be sure to edit the title of this video after we conclude the live today. It'll be called The Destiny of Humanity. It's quite a great discussion that Adronis is going to share with us today. So it'll just take me a moment to bring him through. Afterwards, we will go ahead and get into Q&A, and then we'll be getting into distance healing requests. We'll be taking 3 personal distance healing requests, and then ending with group healing as well too. Okay, so enjoy everybody, and I'll go ahead and bring Adronis in, and we'll get started. Okay, here we go. Terra, Soul Star, Sirius, Adronis, here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. We will speak on the idea pertaining to that which is termed the destiny of humanity. So, as you may or may not be aware, that your star family has been here with you since the very beginning. We have watched you during your humble beginnings upon this planet. We have seen you evolve. We have seen you transform. We have seen you migrate from land to land throughout the entirety of the planet, as the different ethnicities and cultures and creeds of this world pertaining to humanity grows, blooms, blossoms, and expands. And we have also seen you during your contracting times, your times of great trials that represented polarities, that represented chaotic energies, that represented dualities. We have seen your rising and falling of different empires, of different civilizations throughout the centuries. And we now see you here in your modern time. And throughout these entire times, representing the rise and fall of your human civilization, even the genesis of the human civilization, there has always been great attention focused by many different civilizations beyond your world with humankind. Well, Adronis, why is that? Why is it that you have spent so much time working together with humanity? Do you not see what we're going through right now? Why spend so much of your time trying to work with us? What's in it for you? And that may be a common question. What is in it for us is because we are your family. Because many of the civilizations involved that are around your world right now played a part in your own creation. You could think of us as contributors to your own genetic stock. Because again, humanity does have 22 different extraterrestrial races contained within their own genome. But there are also other races that played a part in the associations that have made the human template what it is. But there is also other civilizations that come here and are very eager to learn from humanity just by them being witnesses, being observers. But then we look at you, and many of you may look back at us and saying, well, Adronis, have you seen exactly what we've been going through, particularly within this past century? There's been nothing but wars. There's been nothing but fighting. There's been nothing but poverty. There's been nothing but disease and illness. There are people fighting one another. Humanity is polluting the planet. Why would you even want to bother with us, with how we conduct ourselves so horribly on the planet? Why would you want to do that? And believe us when we say that we've actually had interactions with other races that ask us the same question. Adronis, why is it that there are other civilizations that are investing so much of their energies upon the planet here, helping out behind the scenes for this species that really doesn't seem to understand what they're doing to themselves, what they're doing to each other, and what they're doing to their planet? Why is there so much of an investment of energy here with so many different civilizations? And we look at them with a smile on our face and saying, because we know their destiny. And there are some civilizations that do not know your destiny, because they are still very perplexed about how humanity conducts themselves in this way. That they're warring, that they fight with each other, that they're just completely consumed by this chaos and duality here on this planet. We don't understand why so many of you are investing your energies pertaining to this civilization. Wouldn't it be best just to let them go and let them fight this out? No, it would not. Because again, we are all assigned to do what we are all assigned to do. And we have a responsibility, being here upon this world, looking down at our human children, because they very much are children to us. And again, it's all part of the human destiny. Well, what might that mean, some may ask? Because they do not yet know of the impact that they are going to make for the entire universe when they mature. The entire universe is going to change because of them. What do you mean, Adronis? What do you mean the entire universe is going to change? When humanity evolves itself to the point of great maturity, they are going to be universal teachers for the entire universe. Because they have been through it all, lifetime after lifetime, and they have grown, and they have evolved, and they have expanded, and they are at some particular point going to take the place of the angels. They are going to move themselves up the divine hierarchy. They are going to move their position up to angelic quality. They are going to be guides that will help out in a multitude of ways. They are going to educate worlds to help them understand exactly what not to do. Humanity's future, rather, we will say humanity's destiny, is so incredibly bright, so incredibly powerful, so incredibly expansive, that it is in our nature to help them through so that they can get there. Because that's where humanity is going to go. They are going to become universal guides, universal helpers. They will be able to go to different planets and assist others and help them, looking upon the human being in a very beautiful, expansive, and evolved way. Humanity itself still doesn't even understand its own cosmic destiny, but we see it. And again, you will have your own trials and tribulations when you become an interstellar civilization. That time will come. But before, again, that takes place, you still have to move yourself into the harmony of being a planetary civilization that works with the Earth. That needs to be demonstrated. You can't skip that. You have to be in harmony with your planet. You have to be in harmony with yourselves. You have to be in harmony with each other. With all life upon the planet, you have to learn to respect it, to work with it, to associate with it, to integrate with it, to interconnect with it. That's a requirement. Once that's required, once that has been therefore granted through yourselves, the next level is moving yourself into the interstellar planes, where you will learn how to cultivate yourself, and it may literally take thousands of years for you to integrate yourself into becoming an interstellar civilization. It's not a crash course in how to be an interstellar civilization. There's no little book for you to read. It's not about reading books. It's not about looking at an expert through a video. It's about you being able to fully integrate yourself into a whole new world that represents the interstellar platform. And it is far more vast than what you have encountered on the Earth. And it will be thousands of years in the making. Because you will notice that your lifespan will fundamentally increase as you become a cosmic civilization. In fact, we would say that when you start to really get off the ground and you start to integrate yourself into interstellar civilization, it'll be quite common for the average human to live about 2,000 to 3,000 years, give or take. Because you will have the technology available to assist you in longevity. You will also have the mental aptitude to assist you in longevity. You will no longer be living these smaller lives pertaining to lives that are under a century. You will have it propelled tremendously because there are genetics within yourselves that even your scientists have not discovered their purpose, that when they are activated, you're actually moving yourself into longevity. These are found deeply within your chromosomes, and that there is technology that can be utilized, again, through some forms of ships, that again can help to activate these particular forms of embedded genes contained deeply within your chromosomes that actually expand your lifetime further, brings you into longevity. Many of you will refer to the idea of the telomeres. Telomeres in that sense will play a part, but basically what the genes will do once they are activated is they will continue to rebuild the telomeres so that they remain ripe, so that they remain strong for a very long time. You will notice that when you start to cooperate with yourselves, as you start to work together with the earth, you will find technologies that will increase the supply of oxygen on your planet. As you increase the supply of oxygen upon your planet, this is actually what's going to bring you longevity. This is actually what will move you from a lifetime under 1 century to approximately 2 centuries, or even 3 centuries, because of the appropriate oxygen content within your atmosphere. You will learn how to resupply that. You will learn how to cut back on all of these particular forms of technologies that have been detrimental to your planet and now starting to uplift the planet. You will learn how to work together with the plants, with the vegetable kingdom, with nature, to also assist in the cleanliness of your world. And again, expanding your capability of living on this planet where longevity will become the norm. Where in that sense, we would say that your entire planet will be completely immune from diseases. No more sick people. The diseases you have on the planet will cease to be. Diabetes, gone. Cancer, gone. Heart disease, gone. Cardiovascular disease, gone. Liver disease, gone. Your common cold, your pneumonia, your flu, all of it, gone. Why was it there in the first place? It was engineered. Because a lot of these forms of diseases basically exist underground. When you start pulling out trees, when you start cutting down forests, this is actually what causes many of those particular diseases that were kept underground to basically resurface. Then they would be captured, then they would be put into a laboratory, and then they would be implemented quite commonly in your food additives. Therefore, what you think you're harmlessly consuming would lead to the breeding ground of some of these viruses that would be imbued within your system through simple food additives. Simple as that. You will learn how to clear all of that away. This is why we say that you're going to be living on an earth where there is no poverty, where there is no sickness, where there is no war, where there is no finances, where there is cooperation, where there are people working together, where it is not about the idea of the government hoarding everything while you have absolutely hardly anything whatsoever. Those times are going to change, but you're going through the transitional process right now to watch those things fade away. You have to watch it, because even as Brad has told you, every single stone has to be turned over. And yes, it does. Because a lot of these things that you're using today aren't going to be around for much longer. Adronis, what do you mean by that? Because there's going to be an event that is going to take place that will reveal the truth to the entirety of humanity, which will discard everything that you're using. It will discard every particular practice that you thought life was about because you're going to be re-educated. Adronis, how would we be re-educated? Your star family. That time is going to come. You are going to be mentored, you are going to be educated, you are going to be helped, and humanity will be building its own particular form of foundation through our assistance. But again, the work is towards you. 99% of the work will be done by you. And everything that you're using on this planet right now that is detrimental to the planet, detrimental to nature, detrimental to yourselves, will cease to be. Which means all of this that you're using right now at some point is all going to be turned off. You yourselves are going to deactivate it. So everything that represents these common technologies, it is going to cease. Which means you do not have too much longer to utilize many of these technologies. Maybe a couple of decades, give or take. Because it is going to be turned off. Because again, your planet simply cannot bear for a longer period everything representing the detrimental energies that are coming through much of this common technology. It is hurting her every single day. This is why we're helping her out behind the scenes to helping her cope with these situations in regards to humanity's technology. The satellites that are beaming these signals upon her, it hurts her. The electromagnetic frequencies that you find within your common devices, it hurts her. The different types of signals that you utilize, again representing dirty electricity, it hurts her. The type of energy systems that you are using, your nuclear, your coal, everything that pollutes, fossil fuels, it hurts her. These are not going to be permitted to be standing for much longer. They are going to fall apart. And they are going to be dismantled. Not by us, but by yourselves. Because the truth is going to come out. And there are going to be alternatives that are going to replace these types of technologies. So as we stated, you only really, give or take, have a couple of decades left with this type of technology. It's not going to last. It's not going to stay. New technologies are going to take place where you are moving much more into the nature of life force technology, scalar technology, prana technology, etheric technology. That's where you're going. That's where your future is moving forward. But it is not really going to come through your governments. It's not going to come through all of those pertaining to the top. It's going to come to the bottom, and it's going to raise itself up to the top. And as you start to develop that, you will learn how to develop interstellar technology, where you will now start to explore the interstellar realms cleanly, because you've learned how to work with your Earth cleanly. And this will therefore lead into interstellar affairs that will be conducted, where you'll learn how to work in harmony with the Earth, in harmony with the galaxy, in harmony with the interstellar planes. This is all things that you have to look forward to. And it's going to be continuing forward within the next several generations. And many will say, oh, Adronis, I wish this was happening right now in my generation. What's happening right now through your generation is crucial. It is extremely important, because without going through all this, you would not be able to go into that next level. It's very important where you are right now. It's very important that you are being the powerful pioneers that are helping to show the way, because the technology and the systems that you have pertaining to the modern world are all erroneous. And you're working to dismantle it, because it's going to be dismantled. None of what you're using right now within the modern age is going to survive. It's all going to fall. How you access information is going to be replaced with something even greater and cleaner. How you work together with transportation is going to be replaced by something greater and cleaner. How you work with power systems is going to be replaced with something greater and cleaner. How you work with the idea of governing yourselves is going to work together with something greater and cleaner. And you can put that with every other particular form of platform that you have pertaining to your modern systems. It is going to be replaced by something greater and cleaner. And it will continue that way. It will not fall apart all at once, but it will be falling apart in sequences. And you will see this. This is really what you can look forward to as you move towards the end of this decade and starting into the next decade, following into greater capacity in the 2040s. So you have a lot to look forward to, but this is a dismantling decade. This is a decade of cleanup. This is a decade of dismantling. This is a decade of exposure. This is a decade of realization, so that you're moving yourselves much more into a greater epiphany of life. And the destiny of humanity is for each and every single one of you to function as these stewards, these guides, starting to take your place amongst the angelic kingdoms, where you will assist thousands and thousands and thousands of developing civilizations from all over the cosmos, because of the experience that you hold, because of the capability of the human being realizing themselves to be living gods. And that's why we're here, helping you out bit by bit, letting this course take place. And in a nutshell, this is what we often share with those who are wondering why we invest the time and the energy upon humanity. So, there you have it. We thank you for the opportunity of this interaction. We will now return to the conduit as we will begin your question and answer period time. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Adronis, and thank you, everybody. So it sounds very exciting with what is ahead for us. Okay, it's very, very true. This is exactly what I've been getting as well, too, for many years, is that we have such better days coming, but in order for us to get to those better days, we have to trudge through the mud. We have to get out of this old confinement, and we have to watch all of these things fall apart. It's very much like I was talking about yesterday on the signpost, is that everything pertaining to the modern systems of humanity is wrong, right? If you're basically living in the modern world, everything you're using, everything you're working with, everything that is available is wrong. None of it's right. Okay? The modern man is clueless, right? They're completely out of touch with nature. They're completely out of touch with themselves. They're completely out of touch with life. And the way that is actually much more correct is the indigenous man, right? Is the man, is the woman, is the child that works together much more with nature, right? When they actually start going into the ways of the indigenous, when they even start looking into that way, like how the Amish live in that way, you're getting much more of the idea. You're living much more in harmony. It's not to say you can't have technology. You certainly can. But the technology that we have is detrimental. It's detrimental to us. It's detrimental to the entire planet, right? And this is how we're basically learning to live and communicate with one another, is often through technology. But all of that is going to be changing. And this is only coming within the next couple of decades. It's not really that long of a wait. But we have to watch all of these things plummet. You have to watch all of these things fall, right? We see all this heat all around the world. We're seeing, again, these criminal cartels trying to mix it up, trying to use their own particular forms of proxy armies to start wars in other lands and all that stuff. And this is just showing you how desperate they are. They have completely lost their edge, and they are basically drowning. They're drowning in their own despair, and they're just frantically doing everything they can to try to create as much fear upon the planet and confusion upon the planet so that they can try to regain their empire while their entire pillars are just falling around all around them. And as I look at this, I'm actually just nodding my head and saying, okay, there we go. We're watching the old corrupt die. That's exactly what you're seeing. You're watching them die right now. And they're going to get so frantic, and that franticness will only reach up to a certain point where they will have nothing left. And either they just basically turn around and collapse, or maybe they turn over a new leaf, but I'm not really too sure about that. But nonetheless, we're seeing all of that fall away. As it fall away, everything pertaining to their cohorts, their patsies, their stooges will start to fall away as well too. And then everything starts to move into a transitional flux where you have new elected leaders that are actually elected cleanly. And this is going to lead into further transitions out of old systems that will therefore be reformed and new ones coming into their place, which will in time be a lot more cleaner. And that's what's happening. And when Adronis is saying that, we only have a couple more decades to basically use the type of things that we're using, he's absolutely right about that, right? There could basically be a point where everything just basically gets turned off, right? It's kind of like that new version of, what was it? The Day the Earth Stood Still, right? At the end of the movie where everything just turns off. That is a very real enactment, right? That's something that is most likely looking to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, but that could be something that could be happening probably for the next couple of decades, where it will literally be impossible for us to even use the type of technology that we're using right now, right? Not without us refining new technology that doesn't work on the electromagnetic spectrum, but is now moving much more into the vibrational spectrum, into the subtle life force spectrum, into the scalar spectrum, okay? So basically, again, we don't have a date for this, but basically a lot of the common technologies that we will have at some point, probably within the next couple of decades, are going to be rendered useless. They will just be turned off, right? And Adronis says a lot of it is going to come from humanity. But I think it's also going to be coming from the idea of the higher-ups, right? The counter-forces that are off-world that are eventually going to be bringing this onto the planet. And within the next couple of decades, that I feel is what's going to happen. Maybe it's 2038, I don't know. Could be a little after that, it's hard to say. But maybe that's something we'll look into in a future reading altogether, looking into that. All right. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get into some questions now. So again, thank you all for being here and thank you for donations. So Gijo, I already commented on your question just before going on the air about the council known as Jodinj or Godinj or something like that. I can't translate that. So with no translation, we need to have a little bit more detail pertaining to such a council before we could elaborate on that. It just doesn't translate, okay? It's like someone coming up to me and speaking gibberish and I can't process it, right? So we need a little bit more detail in regards to that council, okay? So here's one from Alina. Alina says, so just give me a moment here, guys. I'm going to go to donation-based questions here in a second. One from Alina says, hello, could Adronis offer some perspective on the nature of thoughts as vehicles of perturbations of the ether and how they manifest outcomes, even without awareness of doing it? Okay, one moment. We thank you very much, Alina, for your question. You have to understand the nature of manifestation cannot be manifested without awareness. Therefore, you are aware. But the nature in regards to what you are aware of slips away. Your subconscious does not forget, even though your conscious self does. So when you're looking at the nature of thought being a perturbation of the ether, indeed it is, for it does represent a magnetism. And that magnetism is now creating the nature of a form, the nature of an event, a manifestation coming together as a reverberation throughout the holographic universe. But you see, you cannot just feel that there is a manifestation here that I'm not aware of, but you are aware of it because you're talking about it. You see? If you feel like you shouted something with great anger towards somebody, but after a few minutes you fade away, you are still seeing the reverberations of that manifestation, even if you cannot even recollect it. You cannot recollect what has happened, but nonetheless it was done. Because now you're seeing how the person feels. Now you're seeing exactly how the environment responds to your hostile outburst, which in turn is a manifestation. Now it may leave your mind 5 or 10 minutes later, but it's still there. The effect of it is still there. It's in the air. It's in the environment around you. It's in the people who have been affected by your outburst. Whereas you basically may have gone blank and, I don't remember anything about that. But you did it. You see? You cannot, therefore, experience a manifestation if awareness does not touch it. Where you are completely, in that sense, not in the awareness of a manifestation will not happen to you. because that would be violating the natural laws. The nature to a manifestation functions itself through the nature of rapport and relationship. So even if you do something and then you forget about it, maybe this is something that happens after minutes, after days, after weeks, after months, or even after years, the impact of what was done still remains, even if you cannot consciously recollect it. So manifestation itself will always come through the nature of awareness. If it does not, if you are not aware of such a thing, really looking into the idea where you have not even played, you have not dabbled in such a manifestation, it doesn't mean anything to you. Because therefore it has not touched rapport, it has not touched relationship. And that's what manifestation is all about. It is a rapport, it is a relationship. It is something that represents a bond. So a bond is necessary. Relationship is necessary. Rapport is necessary when it comes to the nature of manifestation. There's no such thing as unawareness. There's always awareness. But what's happening is that there's no rapport. There's no relationship that is there that enables a manifestation itself to be birthed. So if you're in that heat of the moment argument where you're yelling at the top of your lungs and you're screaming at the top of your lungs, and all of a sudden there's silence, it's okay, good, I got my point across. A few minutes later it passes, you don't even recall it. But everything representing the environment has been affected by that outburst, even if you do not consciously recollect it, because it's still there. It's still been done. You have touched the bond. You have touched the rapport. You have touched the relationship. And that's manifestation. It is impossible to manifest without awareness. Say that with us now. It is impossible to manifest without awareness. Awareness is all. And through awareness comes the rapport, the relationship, the intent to bring forward a seed. And that seed sprouts through the magnetism, through the perturbation of the ether, yes. And it forms an event. It forms a situation. It forms a circumstance. Because of rapport, of relationship, of bond, of intent. Those are the key ingredients. Those are the ingredients you're throwing in the cauldron to creating an elixir. An elixir representing manifestation. So anything that you are not aware of consciously doesn't matter. Your conscious self is not responsible for manifestation. It's the subconscious. You have never manifested anything through a conscious self. Your power of manifestation lies within the subconscious, not the conscious self. Conscious self can't manifest. It doesn't have that capability. It's when you're working with the subconscious. It's when you're moving into your awareness. And you therefore feel that awareness flowing through you, representing the rapport and the relationship and the bond and the intent that therefore flows through the totality, through the superconscious, through the subconscious, through the conscious self. The conscious self itself cannot manifest. It's not possible. It's a perception device. Can't manifest. Can't do it. But the subconscious can. The superconscious, the causal realm, is the idea. The subconscious, looking into thought dimension, looking into the astral, is the manifestation. The physical self, the conscious self, represents the experiencer, the perceiver of that. That is the entire link of the chain of how manifestation works. Idea, causal. Manifestation, astral. Experience, material, conscious self. You have never manifested anything through a conscious self, ever. Can't do it. It is all through your subtle levels. Your subtle levels are the kingdoms of manifestation, are the kingdoms of the idea to make that happen. All right? So we hope we have made that clear for you. Thank you very much. Okay, great question. Thank you very much, Alina. All right, let's go to some donation-based questions here. I think I'll just scroll down. Okay, so we do have a request here from Nikki. So Nikki, I'll get to you here very, very shortly regarding your healing request. Okay. This one here is from Ufuk. Ufuk says, as I understand it, the one, all, absolute has an aspect that is unaware of itself, and an aspect which is aware of itself. Where did that awareness come from, or how? We thank you very much, Ufuk, for your question. There is no such thing as unawareness. That's the whole idea. When you're looking at the absolute itself does not relate to mind at all. Mind does not even exist to it. It's not to say that it is an unawareness. It simply, in that sense, does not function with the nature of the mind. The mind, in that sense, was birthed through the absolute. The mind itself is its own organism. So when you're looking at the self, when you're looking at the absolute, it is, in that sense, completely not even in the realm to where the mind itself resides. It is aware of itself, but the awareness of itself relates to its entire nature, and the mind is not of its nature. So you cannot therefore experience what is not in rapport and not in relationship. It is not that it is unaware of the mind. It is that the nature of the mind is not nature. Do you see what we're saying? The mind itself is a type of technology. It is what represents the extroversion of God, the extroversion of the self. So if you're like looking at a bubble here that turns itself inside out, where everything that was inward is now coming outward, that would represent the nature of the mind. It is a folding. It is a introverting. It is the idea where it is perturbating. Everything that represents the true nature of the self is now therefore being unfolded externally. And the self does not recognize that as nature. You see? So you're looking at the mind in regards to how it has been inverted, relating to extroversialness, pertaining to the nature of thought, pertaining to the nature of emotion, pertaining to the nature of feeling, pertaining to the nature of expression in all of these ways. The self does not consider that nature because the self cannot experience the finite. It is an alien subject to it. Just like you could not get your lungs to perform the duties of the heart. You could not get your stomach to perform the duties of your cranial brain. They're aware of the organs, but again, they cannot do that job. The nature of the infinite is that the infinite will never grasp the finite, and the finite will never grasp the infinite. Even though they are residing here, they don't speak the same language. They're not, in that sense, in relationship to each other. They are against each other's nature. The infinite cannot put itself into the finite, and the finite cannot put itself into the infinite, pertaining to its standpoints. That's the idea. So, when you're looking at the absolute, when you're looking at the self, it is only aware of the infinite. It is only aware of its infinite self. The mind itself, where it continuously works with finiteness, is not natural. It's not a natural formation. It's something that has been manifested. It's something that has been conjured. It's a technology. And it's a technology, in that sense, a type of training ground to helping you give up everything representing finiteness so that you can come back into the infinite. So that they integrate back together. The mind now starts to reinvert itself and return back into absorption of the self. And that's how it works, you see. So it's not to say that the self is not aware of the mind. It's that the mind, in that sense, cannot be computed by the nature of the self because the self is the infinite. You cannot have the infinite understand the finite. And you cannot have the finite understand the infinite. It's not possible. The only way is to absorb, is to integrate, is to reform it back into the nature of the self, because that's where the mind came from in the first place. One deals with the finite, the other deals with the infinite. And that is where you come together as being the bridge in between the two. That you are bringing the mind and reinverting itself back into the self, absorbing it completely, where all that remains now is the self, because all that there is the self. All right? We hope this answers your question. Thank you. Okay. Another good question there. Thank you very much, Ufuk. All right, so we're still going to do a few more questions here before we get into healing. Okay. So let's go up into the very top of the chat here. This is from Universe Agent. So Universe Agent says, "Hi, Adronis, can you tell me more about people who practice different types of magic like Wicca, pagan, Celtic, Asian, etc.? Does it help with spiritual enlightenment, or is it the opposite?" Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that. We thank you very much for your question. Now, looking at the nature of magic itself, what is magic? Science that is not understood. That's all that magic is. Science that is not yet understood is magic. You see? It's no more different than a scientist trying to rely upon their own systems to help educate themselves. As long as they stay within the corners, the boundaries of what represents their science, they're only going to go so far. Because if you indoctrinate yourself pertaining to a certain tradition that has certain rules to follow, procedures to follow, processes to follow, in that sense, what you can do, what you can't do, you are greatly limiting yourself. And that is not just with magic. That is with all particular systems itself. When you're looking into the nature of ritual magic, you need to wear a certain type of clothing. You need to be aligned in regards to the directions. You need to, in that sense, bring forward everything that you wish to bring forward as an assistance to your manifestation. Because really that type of ritual magic is the art of manifestation. That's what it is. And so it's being brought forward in a certain form, in a certain process, in a certain ritual, so that what you are intending to bring forward through the nature of manifestation can be brought forward in succession. But again, it holds a great deal of rules, holds a great deal of processes, holds again the ritual that you need to follow, not to deviate from it. And again, that represents limitation, because you're only going to go so far with boundaries. It does not matter if it's Celtic, it does not matter if it's pagan, it does not matter if it is Middle Eastern, it does not matter if it is Chinese, it does not matter if it is Indian, etc. Again, if they all hold certain premises to them, certain boundaries, and if you do not feel like you can go beyond them, you will only be able to take in so much pertaining to that. The true magic that resides within yourself is letting the heart guide you to showing you everything that truly resides within life. Life is your magic. But again, you are not trying to confine yourself with life. You are not putting barriers around yourself with life, because then you're not living, you're surviving. So again, you're basically just getting by, you're trudging along, because you keep wearing this prison cell all around you as you keep walking. I can do this, but then I can't do this. Oh, I should do this, oh, but I shouldn't do this. Oh, I would do this, oh, but I wouldn't do that. And you're basically playing with polarity. Duality itself is a living cage. You see? Where you say you can do something and then you can't. There's a duality. Where you say you will do something, then you won't. There's a duality. Anything that you put restriction upon yourself with is a duality. A duality will not show you the infinite. You are confined in a cage of the mind. And we could say that pretty much with all magic that represents the nature of ritual, tradition, rules, procedures, consequences, etc. Because if you start to work with that, you're only going to go so far. It's no more different than a religion. It's no more different than a branch of your modern science. They will look at something and thinking that it's impossible. If you think something's impossible, you're stuck in duality. We are teaching you here how to be unfathomable. We are teaching you here how to be at one with the infinite because that is your nature. The finite, in regards to its own confinement structure, its duality, is not a natural phenomenon. It's something that has been conjured. It's something that has been created. It's something that has been manifested. Because it all represents different focal lenses. The mind itself really is nothing but an array of different focal lenses. That you're looking through this lens and here's this particular type of image. And then you're looking through this lens and here's another particular type of image. They're all just arrays of focus. That's the mind. You have a thought. There's your lens. You're now tuning into that thought and everything that it represents. You have a feeling. There's the feeling right there. Tuning into the lens, getting an idea of that feeling. It's nothing but an array of lenses. A hall of mirrors where you're looking at all of these different figures, looking at all of these different focus points. And that's what the mind is. It's nothing but a gigantic focal lens. Because you're always focusing on something. There's a dot on the page, and now you're focusing in. Forget about the infinite that's here. Let's focus on the dot on the page. And that, again, is what you're looking at through any particular type of procedural systems. Dots, right here. And then using these very fancy microscopes, these very fancy telescopes, these very fancy lenses, these very fancy mirrors, and looking at focal points. That's the entire nature of the mind. It cannot expand. It has nothing to expand to because it does not realize that it is of the infinite. It is ignorant of that. And that's where you come in. You are absorbing the mind back into the infinite. You see? So, looking into the nature of a process, looking into a ritual, looking into a tradition that has those types of ground rules is not going to bring you enlightenment in the least. The nature of enlightenment is to realize who and what you truly are. Are you truly the mind? And you will say, no, I'm not. So as you are not the mind, then you already know that you're not the body. Because again, that represents focal points. Not to say you can't use them, but again, that's not the truth of your being. Truth of your being is that you are the infinite. And then when you touch the infinite, when you touch the true nature of yourself, you are bringing it down and you are integrating it into life. You're taking all of these focal points that you have put through the mind and it's being absorbed and it's being absorbed and it's being absorbed and it's being absorbed. And you continue to absorb the mind until the mind resides back into the infinite, and lo and behold, you are one with the infinite. That's really what we're saying here. And it cannot happen through a ritual. It cannot happen through a template. It cannot happen through a tradition that holds ground rules of what you can and can't do. Any system that basically gives you this orientation is dualistic and will not work to assist you in your enlightenment. You are what brings your enlightenment to you. It's not a system, it's not a practice, because that is completely antithesis to who and what you are as the infinite. You bring your enlightenment. Nothing outside of you can do that. All right? We thank you for your question. All right. Thank you, Universe Agent, for your question. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, just scrolling down the list here a little bit. Okay, we got some pretty good metaphysical, spiritual questions here today. All right. So this one here is from Bebito7. Bebito7 asks, Adronis, what is the purpose for creation? Is it true that the Creator wants to get to know itself through creation? We thank you very much for your question. Bebito7, here's something you need to understand. What many of you understand the Creator to be is infinite, yes? So why would a Creator need to understand itself if it is infinite? It would not be an infinite Creator. It would not even be a creator. It would be an experiencer. You see? An experiencer really does not know themselves. They want to tinker, they want to perceive, they want to look at, they want to explore, they want to examine, they want to scrutinize. And that would represent the nature of an experiencer, or you could refer to it as a perceiver. Or again, you could simply refer to them in that sense as a tinkerer. They tinker with things, they examine things, they evaluate things. Do you really think that that's what the one infinite Creator does? No, because the one infinite Creator doesn't care about the finite because it does not perceive the finite. This is the difference between going into creation and being the creative. You see? By going into creation, you're dabbling, you're tinkering, you're experimenting, you're exploring, you're scrutinizing, you're evaluating, you're perceiving all of these things as that potential experiencer. But the experiencer is not the Creator. When you are looking at the Creator, you are in the abode of the infinite. As we stated, everything pertaining to the mind is absorbed into the heart of the Creator. Because the Creator truly is the creative. It is the creative force that is responsible for the perturbations of the ether. So therefore, when you're looking at the nature of who and what you are, when you are one with the Creator, everything pertaining to the mind, everything pertaining to those thoughts that represent perturbations of the ether, return back home. Because again, it is not really a creator that, as we would say, goes in and experiences these thoughts. You have to condense yourself, and you're moving yourself into the experiencer, which means you're manifesting all of these things together, and then you're shrinking yourself down to be the experiencer, to experience these things, and then at some particular point to reabsorb all of these things back into the infinite, to realize that you're God. There's not you here and the Creator here. It doesn't work that way. You have to stop thinking that I'm here and the Creator is there. Wrong. You're here. Experiencer, Creator, creative force, the self, the absolute. Behold you. It is not something out here. It is not another being. It is not another force. That's you. This is you. What you would understand as the zero, the absolute, the all that is, the infinite. That's your nature. That's you. When you're saying the Creator, you're talking about you. When you're talking about God, you're talking about you. When you're talking about the self, you're talking about you. When you're talking about the mind, you're talking about you. When you're talking about the body, you're talking about you. There's nobody else here but you. That's you. You see? So it is not about the Creator getting to know him or herself. That is complete and total absurdity. It has nothing to do with the Creator knowing itself. Only the experiencer wishes to know themselves. The Creator already knows himself to be I. You think you're going to know yourself with a bunch of dabbling focal lens thoughts that are contained inside a technology of the mind? That's not knowing yourself. That's experiencing yourself. So it is not about the nature of the one infinite creator having to go in here and pull up all these thoughts and perturb the ether and make all these thoughts and make all these experiences. Oh, because I want to get to know myself. That is ridiculous. Because then that would not be an infinite being. That would be the experiencer. So what you have done as the creator is you've manifested all this into being, and you've shrunk yourself down into the experiencer. You want to play a game. And that's all you're doing. You're playing with life. Why? Because you can. What's the nature of life? Is the nature of you being able to experience it. You being able to play with it, because you will give it 100 million purposes. You will give it 100 million examples. You will give it 100 million stories. You will give it 100 million perceptions. Does it have any meaning? Not at all. Not at all. Life is meaningless. Because it's everything that you are applying to it that would give it meaning. It's nothing but a neutral prop. Nothing but a neutral prop. And it's you that's giving your meaning to everything here. So the creator is bringing forward all of these perturbations, shrinking himself or herself down so that he or she can be the experiencer of his or her own creations. But you can only have that through an experiencer. You can't have that as a creator. When you create something, you know everything about it. So why would you need to feel like you need to know something of yourself with what you create, to which you know everything about it already? Doesn't make sense, does it? We understand many people utilize this analogy, but with all due respect, they would be completely incorrect. Because that's not the role of the creator. The creator is one with the infinite, because they are the creative force. It is when they condense themselves down to being the experiencer, where the experiencer is now under the idea, under the impression that they have to go through the mind to get to know themselves, and that's just them playing their game. It's a child playing make-believe. It's a child going into the forest and playing with their imagination, because that's all you're doing. That's life. It's a sandbox. And you go in the sandbox and you start making all these sand figurines just because you know you can. And then you shrink yourself down into the sandbox, and now you think you're a figurine, and now you're playing with all these other sand figurines in the sandbox because you have become the experiencer and you have forgotten what it is to be a creator. That's exactly why you experience everything that you do. Through the mind. You have forgotten that you are God. You have forgotten that you are a creator. You have forgotten that you are the creative force. And you're just playing in a sandbox with all these figurines by you embodying yourself into a figurine, and lo and behold, here's my world. Why am I doing it? Because I'm just playing. Because I'm just playing as an experiencer. Because I've forgotten that I'm God. Because I'm ignorant to know that I'm not God. And that's why I play in the sandbox. That's why I'm the experiencer. The experiencer does not know God. The experiencer knows only of its stimulation of everything within its environment, because it thinks it's part of the entire sand figurines that you've manifested. The greater self manifests. The conscious self cannot. It is a perceiver. And so that is primarily what has happened. You have shrunken and condensed yourself down to the conscious awareness of an experiencer, forgetting that you're God. Being ignorant to knowing that you are actually God. That's why you do it. That's why you play with life. It's you playing in your sandbox. Nothing more. Life's meaning is its meaning through you. And that is the truth. All right? We thank you for your question. All right? Very powerful. Thank you very much for your question. Babito 7. Okay, we're going to do probably about one more question. We're going to wrap up the questions. Then we'll go into distance healing. Okay. So this is just a follow-up from Ufuk. One second, guys. We got some water. Okay. So Ufuk's follow-up question, or duplicate question: how can existence, being all there is, become aware of anything if it is everything? Well, again, you're still looking at it as things. Existence itself is not creation, Ufuk. Okay? This is a fundamental difference, because a lot of people will talk about existentialism. They will talk about the nature of existence. But existence is not the infinite. Existence is that which is being brought into being. Okay? When you exist, you're being brought into being, and then you're being brought out to being. Is that the infinite? No. Okay? So when you're looking at the existence being all that is, you're again looking at the grains of sand in the sandbox. Okay? Which means I can bring absolutely anything into being. Right? I can bring worlds into being. I can bring stars into being. I can bring galaxies into being. Okay? Is that the infinite? No. Because those are all just focal lenses of what you are playing with as the experiencer. Right? So again, the experiencer concerns of existence. Okay? The holographic universe is like looking at a sandbox that has infinite grains of sand. Okay? But they're all focal points. Every grain of sand is a focal point. Right? So you can gather that sand and make it into something monumental, something beautiful. But you're only experiencing that sand as an experiencer. Right? You're shrunken down. You're condensed in that way. So the holographic universe, again, is working with the ether. Okay? How everything comes into being, Ufuk, is through the ether. Right? Is through the 0 point. Right? Is through counter space. Call it what you will, it doesn't matter. Okay? I like to call it the ether, it's fine. So again, when you're talking about how can existence, being all there is, become aware of anything? Because again, you're becoming aware of it as an experiencer. Right? If you are the experiencer, you are forming relationship with everything that fundamentally relates to your creations. Okay? But again, you're forgetting that you're God. The creator does not need to know themselves. You're beyond that. Okay? The creator doesn't give a shit about anything that is finite. Right? And that's as blunt as I can really give you that. God doesn't have a plan for you, my friends. Okay? It is the nature of our own will that represents our own plans. It is the nature of our own meanings that give us our own plans, because that's what you're constantly reflecting back to the focal lenses that represent the mind. The nature of God as the infinite has no plan for you. It is simply to be the I am. That's it, right? God says, I am the I am. And there you go. That's it. That's the nature to God, is that I am, right? And if you do not see that, then you're just wandering from place to place, giving yourself purpose, giving yourself passion, giving yourself all these things, and all you're doing is you're turning on more focal lenses, and you're aiming these beams and manifesting more things through the greater self of who you are, and you're playing with dolls, and you're playing with the sandbox, and you're playing with figurines, and you can create as many of these as you want, because it's all through the ether, because the ether has infinite capacitance. It has absolutely no drain upon itself. It will never just dry up and die. It is the infinite. And through the ether, an infinite amount of lenses can be manifested. But through the ether, everything is contained in interconnectedness, because it's through the ether that everything comes. And as soon as you branch something through the ether that manifests, here are its strings. Here is its magnetism, right? And everything that is being manifested through the ether has these strings, has this magnetism, because it all comes from the one source, right? So as it all comes to the one source, It is everything. It is anything. But it's not even a thing, because you cannot see the ether. You cannot perceive the ether. The ether is unfathomable. Right? So we come into these understandings that when we look at the ether, we can only really understand it through what we manifest through it. And that's still not really understanding it. You're just looking at the ether as a power supply. You're looking at the ether as an infinite capacitance that is capable of manifesting absolutely anything from infinity, right? That's the nature. But again, what it's manifesting are focal lenses. So the mind has an infinite amount of focal lenses, but it perceives through the finite, right? It can only receive all these focal lenses through the ether, right? Through the ether, through the infinite, through God, through the self, okay? It is not about becoming aware, Ufuk. You cannot become aware, okay? Hold up your index finger right now. Are you aware that you're holding up your index finger, right? You did not need to become aware of that. You are awareness. Awareness does not focus through time. It is not as clumsy as the linear body, as the linear mind. Awareness is all, okay? It is all interconnected. But awareness is basically giving you those set of eyeballs upon everything that you wish to perceive. And awareness can also join you as you are aware of the infinite. Awareness was never born. Awareness will never die. Awareness does not have a good or evil side, a black or a white. It doesn't have a beginning, an end, or a middle. It just is. That's the nature of awareness. So when you're talking about existence, you're not talking about the infinite. You're talking about manifestations. Existence and manifestations come together because existence is a focal point. It is not the infinite. Existence is a finite concept. Only the infinite is infinite. And through the infinite is awareness, is consciousness, is infinite intelligence, right? The intelligence to work with the ether in manifesting whatever it is you wish. The intelligence to remain in the infinite and simply float in the infinite intelligence that all that is, right? This is giving you a little bit more of an idea, I hope. Okay? Existence is not infinite. Existence is a finite perception of the mind, relating to what becomes and what no longer is. That's time. That relates to the nature of manifestation. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay, guys, that will do for questions for today. We're now going to go ahead and move on into distance healing. Okay, so we're going to do 3 questions. Just going to take a drink first. So we're not 3 questions, 3 requests. Okay, and I think I had one earlier from Nikki. Okay. So Nikki says, "Hi Brad, may I please receive a healing for what my doctor said was a viral infection and turned into a sinus infection with a very sore throat. Thank you." Okay. So yes, we can go ahead and work on a viral infection. Sinuses. So sinuses are targeted and throat is targeted. Okay, so respiratory system as well too. Okay, so we'll work with the sinuses, we'll work with the throat, and we'll work with the respiratory. So Nikki, all I want you to do right now is just get yourself relaxed, get yourself comfortable. Okay, just follow your breath as you breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your nose, and we'll go ahead and we'll begin your healing. Okay, here we go. Okay. So Nikki, that whole problem will be gone here very, very shortly. Okay. So again, we're just doing a cleansing. We're just clearing everything out. And like I said, the source center vibration is just bringing everything back into harmony. And that in turn is what you will experience. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's go for a second request now. Okay. So I'm just looking for a second healer request. Just give me a moment here, guys. Got quite a bit of questions today, which is good. But let me see here. Okay, I'm not too sure if I even see any other healing requests. This is quite impressive. I'm only seeing one healing request. If you guys have sent a healing request already earlier, but I haven't seen it, just go ahead and feel free to repost it at the bottom of the chat. But I think I'm just seeing Nikki's here. I don't think I see another one here. Let me know you guys are actually working to heal yourself. Well, that'd be awesome. I hope that's what the case is. Okay, yeah, because I'm just seeing a lot more Q&A here altogether. So just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just looking through the list here. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we just had one healing request from Nikki today. Okay, great. All right, guys, so I think what we'll do now is we'll just move into group healing. I'm imagining some other people are starting to look into the free practices I have on YouTube and are actually doing it, and they're healing themselves. So if that's the case, fantastic. That's wonderful. That would delight me beyond anything. All right. So let's go ahead now and move into group healing. All right. So just as we did last week, we're going to be working in a combination with release ball method and prana transmission technique. Okay. So just get yourselves nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable. Okay. Just imagine like a green beam of light is just horizontally coming down upon you. Excuse me. Horizontally coming down upon you. Okay, scanning your body, going all the way down to the bottom of the feet. And just be aware of any pockets of any discomfort, any pain, any soreness, any stiffness, okay? Anything relating to any emotional conflict, mental conflict, anything that you're going through that's basically causing perturbation, so that you're not being able to experience peace. Okay, so just be aware of where you're feeling that within your body. Now we're just going to rub our hands together. Okay, and then generating a chi ball. Okay, and now you're just going to be holding that chi ball with one hand, and you're just going to start from the top down, just going down, and any pockets of that disruption. Okay, just feel it being absorbed into the into the chi ball, like a vacuum. Okay, just like it's vacuuming out any physical, mental, emotional disruptions within your body. So you're going down the legs if you need to. Okay, and once you get right to the bottom, and you've absorbed everything, you're just holding that let's say cube again, that chi ball together. Okay, and we're just shrinking it down a little bit, just until it's about the size of our palm here. Okay, so we're just absorbing that into the palm, so we can see again kind of like half of that chi ball sticking out from the palm. Okay, the other half sticking out this way as well too. So we're just absorbing it into the palm of the hand. Okay, now you're just taking your finger of your other hand and just putting it here in the center. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to Om chant directly into the center of the palm, which in turn is going to affect the chi ball, shrinking everything down. Why? Because the Om is the source center vibration. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. Om. Second time, inhale. Om. And third time, inhale. Okay, checking the palm. Is that ball still there? Right? Is that ball empty, or is that ball even still present? Right? If you feel that ball is completely empty, you did it. If you feel the ball has completely disappeared, you did it as well too. If you need to do a little bit more, do a second round. Right? Just Om chanting directly into the center clears everything up. You wouldn't believe how many people I've done this with, and they've had bad colds, they've had fevers, they've had emotional discontentment, they've had mental conflicts. They put that all in the ball and they start Om chanting, and they feel it just leaving them after about either 1 or 2 rounds of the 3 Om chants. It's very, very powerful. Right? So we're just combining 2 of my free practices together, the release ball method and prana transmission technique, putting it into one and clearing all that out. Very, very simple, guys. Right? No problem whatsoever. Okay. So again, I'm going to probably leave everything at that for today, as it is just past 11:30. So thank you everybody for joining me for New Earth TV Live. I know we talked about a lot of stuff today, so come back to the recording, replay it some more and more, because these are things that you need to listen to again and again and again until it starts to click. Right? When I give these messages, when Adronis comes through and gives these messages, they're meant to be listened to a multitude of times, because they have hidden secrets within each and every single one of them every time you listen to them again and again. All right? Thank you, guys. Blessings to you all. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll speak to you all next week. Again, I think Brianna and I will be doing a video this weekend as well, too, about her feng shui. It's going to be really exciting. First time my sweetie is coming on there with me, and we're going to have a nice little talk. It'll be wonderful. So thank you, guys. Take care. Blessings to you all. Namaskar, and may be well with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me. And also your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through AETHERX. You will also be able to pick up the Aetherbed kit. That is also on AETHERX as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on AETHERX. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you.